Hello, I'm James Cridland, the radio futurologist, and this is Radioland, my international radio trends newsletter, read out here because, why not? And this is the version from September the 7th, 2025, Radiodays Asia in Jakarta. Because I was in Jakarta last week for Radiodays Asia and for Podcast Day Asia, and there are plenty of stories about it at radioinfo.asia if you want to learn a little bit more, and you'll find some podcast-related chats in the Pod News Weekly Review this week from about 5 minutes in. Radiodays Asia is always a fascinating glimpse into how other markets work. Asia's a very uneven set of markets, which makes it particularly challenging to program an event for everybody, but I learnt a lot as ever. It was interesting hearing from the BBC, who announced the name for a new podcast for Asia. It's called Asia Specific, and it'll come from Singapore. It's been a year in planning so far, and it's had a set of pilots, and I must confess to being slightly surprised, therefore, when I interviewed Siobhan Leahy to learn that they haven't yet settled on a final release cadence. I think we might launch with 2 episodes a week, she told me, adding 1, building up to 2, maybe building up to 3. Well, there are plenty of videos to watch of the event as well. I spoke with Jacqueline Beerhorst about DAB+, in a session hosted by World DAB. Our friends at RCS hosted a session about moving radio to the cloud, and Chris Stevens from TM Studios talked about radio imaging. And if you look hard enough in the YouTube links there, you'll find both tracks of the entire conference as well. The strangest radio station ever appeared. It plays one thing only. That's the title of a fun YouTube video highlighting a ghost service on a few DAB multiplexes in the UK. I love odd things like this, especially when they get coverage all by themselves. It's fun. You should go and watch it. Speaking of which, Somerset House has launched The Dream Radio, a 3-week, 24/7 stream to reimagine new and hopeful ways of being. It features contributions from all kinds of people, including Maxine Peake, Brian Eno, Yanis Varoufakis and the Palestinian Sound Archive. It's all in collaboration with Turner Prize-winning Somerset House Studios artist Ty Shani. You can listen at dreamradio.net until the 15th of September, and I'd like to thank them for their support this week. It looks like a fascinating service, actually, with original commissioned work in the evenings, archive content during the day, and even audiobooks overnight. Elsewhere, Duncan Campbell, formerly of ARN, has written about the role of a content director in radio. There's a job that's going away. A fascinating trip down memory lane on Steve Bobrick's blog with details from an event I apparently helped organise in 2008 about how the BBC should operate online. More from Martin Bellham as well. The BBC of 2008 seems very different to the BBC of 2025. Last week, I suggested that Apple's radio stations have only been available to paying subscribers of Apple Music, and thank you to the varied people pointing out that I am wrong. They were available everywhere for free, but just not syndicated to other platforms. It's that has changed over the last couple of weeks. Now, who wants a beer? I'm in London next week if you're around from 5 till 7 on Tuesday, the 16th of September. It will be quite excellent to join up for a pint of Man in the Box. If you know, you know. I'll be at the Yorkshire Grey in Langham Street. I appreciate it's the day before the radio festival, which I won't be going to because I've scheduled a flight in the middle of that day. Sorry, but that might mean that you're in London anyway, I'm hoping. So if you're able to pop by, it would be excellent to see you. I'll be the jet-lagged guy in the corner. And thank you to John in Vancouver, who says, thanks for speaking out for us non-UK BBC radio listeners. It's a pleasure, John. Chris Stevens, who says, always enjoy the content and links. And David Webb, who says, I enjoy your informative and interesting newsletter. For your kind extra coffees, the dog is now very annoyed if we don't go out for a coffee on time. buymeacoffee.com/James Cridland is where to do that. Thank you to them. Also, thank you to Greg Strassel, Sam Phelps, Richard Hilton, Emma Gibbs, Jocelyn Abbey and James Masterton for being regular supporters. And if you'd like to support my work, then you can buy me a coffee. You can become a member to give regularly or just give a one-off coffee or 5. buymeacoffee.com/James Cridland is the place to go. I'm on Mastodon at james@bne.social, so look me up there. And my website has more details about who I am and what I do and whether I can help you further. You'll find that at james.crid.land. Yes, or indeed james.cridland.net. Either of those two. And thank you for listening, and keep listening.